Welcome to Every Album Ever with Mike and Alex. My name is Michael Mansour, and I'm joined, as always, during this horrible, sunny, it's back to being hot again, day, co-host Alexander Volz. Say hello.
Still filled with fires, too. You left that part out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Last week, the Clips episode, we went the whole thing about the fires.
Still going.
And I thought it stopped, or at least down here in Southern California.
No.
It's like for a couple of days, like, oh, I can breathe again. It doesn't smell. And then one night, I left my window open as I slept. I was woken up by the smell at 6 a.m.
Yep.
of fire.
I didn't realize how close I was to it until I looked at a map, and I'm like, pretty close.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. This is Every Album Ever, the podcast where we listen to every single album in the world, one artist at a time. That's a new discography, more or less, per episode. And today we are discussing
Big Star.
Big goddamn stars.
Should have picked up a few Carl's Jr.'s or Hardy's, depending on where you live. Some famous stars.
When was the last time we had Carl's Jr. and or Hardy's?
Last week. Didn't even have to think that hard about it.
It's been like 10 years for me.
You live right by one.
I live right by one. I always felt cheated by them. No matter what time I've gone, it's either the people that were dicks, the food was like clearly had been left out the whole day, or something. And also one time I heard this story. This has nothing to do with music, but don't worry, it's worth it. I knew this guy who worked at one of those food inspection factories, literally like an assembly line of like leftover food and like their product that he sifts through for I don't know, abnormalities. And one day he found an abnormality in the Burbank, California Carl's Jr. Don't ever go there. He said it was thick hair like that of a cattle.
Oh,
like thick, coarse hair in the meat. Like it was a half-eaten burger in the meat. And that is our Carl's Jr. plug of the day. We're going to get attacked for slander, maybe. But if you like Carl's Jr. or don't like Carl's Jr., but also want to support us by subscribing on Apple Podcasts and fucking Spotify and YouTube, you can do all that. And be sure to follow me on Instagram at Pope Jesse Ventura and Alex
at Mother Puncture.
There we post which artists we're currently covering. So you get a little bit of a heads up. If you want to send emails, DMs regarding that band or artist, you could do that. Send any emails, suggestions for artists, etc. to everyalbumever@gmail.com. And of course, like every other goddamn episode, there should be a Big Star playlist in the description of wherever you're listening or watching. We got playlists associated with every single episode. You can find them all at everyalbumever.com, or you can follow Alex directly on Spotify. Cut out the middleman, ignore us completely, and just listen to songs, which is always a good time. Big Star. So this is a band that has come up repeatedly in past episodes.
Yes. Heavily influential. Specifically, was it the Replacements wrote a song about the
literally called Alex Chilton.
Yes.
Great song. Episode 27.
Yes. And probably like Husker Du too. I can't think of other bands, but for sure
Elliott Smith was looking at another
Oh
big one.
yeah. Very influential. Probably more famous for being the theme music to that 70s show.
And here's the thing about that. I didn't know that.
Oh, wow.
Had no idea.
Yeah.
Listening to the album, just having a good old time, good old American time.
And then all of a sudden,
I was like, wait, hold on. Come on.
Also, the version on that 70s show, it's not even the Big Star version.
It's a cover.
Because it wouldn't be Big Star if it was actually their version.
Yeah, it wouldn't be Big Star if it was recognized as Big Star.
Yeah.
So that was that 70s show version is what, Cheap Trick?
Yes, Cheap Trick.
Wait, hold on. That's funny to me. Well, first of all, I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
So it's double funny to me because Cheap Trick is like the same era. The same fucking era. Just go with the original, you dicks. Okay, and also another, I don't know if you know the answer to this, but there were two versions of that 70s show. The theme song. The first season.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It was like in a higher key, and then the one later on sounded way more modern. Had like a different outro.
Dang, I should have Wikipedia.
I'm not exactly sure.
Show.
Either way, it's not Big Star. I like the Big Star version quite a bit. It sounds like a different song. It took me a second to really register that it was that theme song, but not at all indicative of the band.
No, I found a great article by NPR where they dubbed them the unluckiest band in the world, and I would say that's apropos.
I don't know too much of the backstory. I know there's a documentary called Nothing Can Hurt Me. Came out 2012. Did you watch that?
I watched it a long time ago, and I remember very little. But that's how I discovered the Chris Bell solo album, I Am the Cosmos, which
it's a great name.
It's an amazing, great album. And I think I've listened to that more than
really
Big Star albums.
Interesting. Yeah. It was a name that always came up. I always figured, this is what I figured going in, that I would hear the records or whatever, and then I would keep thinking, oh, that's Big Star. And that never happened. That never happened. It was really
Except
disappointing.
For the one song.
Except for but that was more of I watched that 70 show.
On a technicality.
Yeah, technicality. And that was these guys really didn't get their due. These guys really didn't get their due. I know they're respected now, but holy shit, these aren't on commercials. These aren't overplayed. And even Nick Drake got the fucking Volkswagen commercial. Was it Volkswagen?
Yeah, he did. Got the, Big Star didn't really, never got their due, even though they were around in the 90s still, which we'll talk about. But, very interesting, unlucky band. But, they are definitely one of those bands that got recognition later on. I feel like there were a lot of people in the 80s listening to cool, obscure stuff. Mm-hmm. And through name dropping it, a lot of these people got their dues in the 90s and 2000s.
Once again, another of your favorite band that we tend to just keep gravitating toward.
We should have just called the podcast Your Favorite Band's Favorite Band.
I know. It would be a little bit more accurate than us doing every fucking album in the world, which we're definitely not going to do. We're liars.
I like the hyperbole on this show.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't be me if I wasn't exaggerating everything. So, not unsurprisingly, Big Star has a very, very tiny discography, itty bitty discography. 3 albums essentially, and then a reunion album,
which I didn't know existed until I've listened to the other 3 before this, and I didn't even know that one.
It seems as though they don't talk about it much, as we'll get into. And I'm only going to preface this now because it is not an easy album to get a hold of. This reunion album, which came out in 2005, by the way, not a long time. I mean, a long time ago, kind of, but relatively short time ago, is not streaming. Damn near not on YouTube. It's some songs are 8.
Yeah, and one of them is a live performance.
Yeah, not even on YouTube. You gotta dig deep. You gotta go through some illegal, nefarious means to get this album, or you just buy it. But
from somewhere.
But 3 records during their time in the 70s band. They're a 70s band.
Yeah.
Hence that 70s show. So first record came out in 1972. Last one, like I said, 2005. But they'd broken up at 74. I don't fucking know when they broke up. But it was a long time ago.
Yes. I would say 76.
So I'd rather talk about it now than later. Alex Chilton, he's pretty prolific, right? He went on, they all went to do stuff.
Yeah.
That was more successful than Big Star, I guess, to a degree.
I don't know if it was more successful, but
he was active though.
Yeah, so he did solo albums.
When they reunited, whatever time later, it was it wasn't exactly like them getting off the couch and putting down the beer to get back into it.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of. There were new members involved because when they got back together in 93, it's just him and the drummer Jody Stevens, and they recruited some guys from believe the band's called the Posies.
I know that name sounds familiar, but I don't know them.
One of the dudes, I'm kind of jumping all over the place. One of the dudes is I forgot to write his name down. I'll look it up later, but he's
Henry Rollins.
Is on over 200. His discography is
this guy you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's just a session dude, or
yeah, he's a workhorse guy. He's featured on over 200 albums, which is crazy.
Holy God. Oh boy.
I don't even know if we've covered 200 albums.
No, we've covered a lot more than 200 albums.
Yeah, probably.
Unless every episode that we've done was 2 albums long, which it hasn't been.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've done hundreds and hundreds of albums so far. Holy, that's kind of impressive. I'm impressed by that. But let us jump into it anyway. This is 1972's number 1 record. this riff, it is so 70s rock. It's a great riff.
Mm-hmm.
It is almost identical to the beginning of I'm So Glad from Cream, except it turns into a good song instead of a bad one.
The vocal choices are so crazy to me.
Alex Chilton has the highest voice in the world.
Yeah, and then on this album, you get Chris Bell singing sometimes too. And their harmonies are just the greatest.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I didn't think that was. I think that was just overdubbed. I didn't know it was both of them.
yeah. I mean, there might be, but there are definitely two of them.
This is such a smart and unexpected return to that main riff.
Yeah,
With those fucking angelic harmonies. Like, oh, that's a rock and roll riff. I didn't expect it to go that pretty.
they definitely build layers, even if it's like subtly done.
All right, let us have a little chat about this one.
Also, there's a saxophone on that song that we didn't get to, but this is probably their best.
You say it's best?
This is their best. It's the only one to feature Chris Bell.
Mm-hmm.
I think it just sounds it sounds awesome. This was one of those discographies where I had to think what is I had to define the best. And I just think the playing, the vocal harmonies, I think there's more interesting stuff they do later on, but I just think it's killer all across the board.
I didn't think we were going to disagree with this, but I'm surprised. This is my personal favorite.
Yeah.
If you saw me typing earlier, I was typing in personal because I just changed my mind like after we started recording.
Yeah.
Because like I realized how much, like before taking any notes, I listened to this album like 4 times. Like this is fun as shit. This is like perfected 70s rock.
It is. One thing that I appreciate about this band is like it's distinctively 70s, but there's very few cliches, and what they were doing is not like instantly, oh, this is unique, but compared to everything else going on in the 70s, no one really they're heavily inspired by the Beatles. And I think at first some people thought they sounded too much like the Beatles, but they kind of also very unique. They took that, and also they're from Memphis.
Didn't even know that.
Yeah. They took that and this kind of like twisted it, and most bands, if you're from the South, you play Southern rock.
Yeah.
Big Star pinches of it here and there, but I would not call them a Southern rock band at all.
I would never have guessed. Also, we didn't talk too much about how they formed.
Yeah. So Alex Chilton, who was like a prodigy, he was like 16 when he had his first hit. I forgot to write that down with what band. But he approached Chris Bell to do like a Simon and Garfunkel thing.
Really?
Which I'm glad didn't happen.
No kidding.
But Chilton showed him some of his songs, and he was impressed by it. And he was like, well, I have this band already. Why don't you come into the band? Like, will this bring you into the band? And we'll rename it, and we'll work from there.
Before you continue, was it The Letter by the Box Tops?
The Box Tops, yes.
Okay. All right, go on.
And yeah, it's so weird. It was like this perfect partnership that lasted for one album. Chilton laid down the groundwork, and Chris Bell was pretty like prolific around the studio. He knew what he was doing in the studio. So he would just like polish the hell out of the songs and workshop them and get them to where they are. But yeah, it's produced to producer John Fry, I believe. But he's like, I didn't really do anything. Like Chris Bell was just a maniac.
Interesting. So I was trying to think about what made me keep going back to this one. Like I went back to it a lot. I just kept going back. And it's like, there's something about really it's like so sure of its place in the world. Like
Yes.
as later albums go on, they get way more out there and way more interesting overall. But this one, it's so 70s rock. It's so well written. It's so like, I don't want to say better than all their peers, but kind of better than all their peers. Like, it's just even like, for example, fucking In the Street, which is that 70s show thing. Even something as da 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 da, like it's so fucking like, oh, this is just a hard rock song, but it's just so satisfyingly presented. And Chilton's vocals they're almost endearing with how high and flimsy and kind of sweet they are. Like it's not a hard rock vocalist at all.
Yeah, they're up there. Again, it's this kind of Big Star in a nutshell where it's familiar, but it's different enough.
And go ahead.
Almost like if you go to like a fusion food restaurant or something. And you're like, this is a hot dog, but there's a Korean twist on it. Like,
yeah. Also, this album, I think, definitely paced the best out of all of them because it literally does hard, soft, like with the type of songs.
Like After Feel, the ballad of El Gudo is so quiet and subdued compared to that.
13 is a pretty famous song, right?
Yes,
that
13 is one of the sweetest ballads.
That one got me. That one made me a fan. That song made me a fucking fan. First listen, put a little bit of 13 just for the listeners there.
It really, before I throw it on, it really does a great job of like capturing like when you have your first crush and like the innocence you have before the world destroys you.
I.e. us now.
Won't you let me walk you home from...
His voice sounds so good on here too.
It does.
Oh, goddamn.
This is a song you could play at a wedding.
Oh, I thought about that.
Alex and Mike get old, sell out, and start talking about their weddings.
I know.
Maybe Friday.
Oh, not a dry eye in the house if you throw this on for your first dance.
Dude, I was thinking about this song and the one I said before, Saturday Sun from Nick Drake. Like, oh, those are wedding songs. Those are the best things ever made.
Yeah.
Too fucking good. Okay. Goddamn.
So good.
Too damn good. What else do I like? I mean, it's all like, even the songs that are kind of like,
there's songs on here I thought were okay, but then I would catch myself singing them, like When My Baby's Beside Me.
Oh, okay.
That song will it creeps in your head.
A lot of their songs do that, and I was gonna say like even the weaker tracks, they're so short and non-invasive because the pacing is so well done on the whole album that like songs like My Life Is Right, which I generally don't care for if it was on its own, but just the place in time, its place in the album.
I think
you get over it.
The weakest song on here is the India song.
Even the India song, it's so dweeby and fantasy sounding with those fucking stupid ass flutes or whatever the hell.
I know. It sounds more like a Renaissance fair than India.
I still like it. I think it's like, it's the thing that creeps up on you. It's like, it's so dorky, but it's endearing. Like this whole album is so fucking endearing. None of it one thing I really love about this album is that you still recognize a lot of it as 70s rock, like we keep saying. No, you don't get any of the fucking ego that comes with it. You don't feel like these guys are wearing deep V's with their chest hair peeking out. You don't feel like they're kicking on stage or grabbing 16-year-old girls. You don't feel any of that from this record.
There's probably a lot of ego in this.
Probably a lot of all those things I said, but you don't feel like it. That's what I like about it.
Yeah, it's just really sincere and nice, and also, despite being called #1 record, it failed.
Shocking.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Partially due because there was interest, but the record label Stax Records was unable to promote it or produce enough copies. So, like, they got a good review in Rolling Stone, which was a big deal at the time, but the record company just like failed them. And,
fucking failures.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's a thing. We don't have to. That's not a problem anymore. That's one huge advantage.
Like the internet.
It's so funny that nowadays running out of shit is like the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you sold out. You ran out. This is perfect for your career. But back then, it was literally fucked them in the ass.
Yeah, it could have been detrimental to them.
Well, rocking good time from beginning to end. It's this album leaves you wanting more Big Star. It doesn't leave you craving anything else.
Yes.
That's one thing that I think this one did better than all the other records, in my opinion.
Like I said, rarely do they play like Southern riffs.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do, it's just like a taste. Same with like, nothing on here makes you think, oh, this is rooted in blues music.
Oh, no. Nothing about it feels any kind of derivative of some general genre. Which is, it was a perfect album, especially for 1972, where like they're kind of coming off of the 60s and 70s rock wasn't a cliche thing yet.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfect for the time. It's well done and it holds up. Alex's best, my personal favorite. Now let's move on to 1974, Radio City.
And that's kind of like a traditional rock and roll thing, but it gets so different.
It's an interesting song. It is a strange opener.
Yes.
Real weird opener.
Especially coming off.
Yeah. Like this riff.
I wouldn't say there was experimentation. Maybe with like the vocals, but not.
You mean the last record?
Yeah. This one, there's some stretching going on.
Oh yeah. There's the organs in the background.
I know.
Yeah. It's good stuff. Dude, those drums. That is a fucking noise rock, early 1990s drum beat. That's a fucking Tool beat. It's so strange to be in this 1974.
Yeah. Also, like, I'm glad that they went here with the vocals, because with those riffs, you expected, like, ain't nothing but a hell yeah. But they didn't go there.
No. I want to leave it on a while, because, like, how weird this song is. It goes so many different places. It just doesn't. It's a fucking weird song. Like, I like it. I mean, but it's like, I think it's one of the weaker tracks, and I think it's a strange.
Really?
I think it's a strange opener.
It is strange. I will say it is strange, but it's like it's so out there that I was like, I wanted to hear more. Yeah. So I think it works in that aspect.
You know why it also works in that aspect? It's because the follow-up track, what the hell is it called? Life is White. Oh, dude, it makes it. Put on a little bit of Life is White.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of like there's some like old timey rock and roll here, but this.
Immediately, I'm getting 90s vibes from this so hard.
That's probably a reason so many alt rock bands.
This is so different from the opening track, and it's so driving. Like, fuck yes, this is. Oh, I love this song. Also, another thing to note: this sounds absolutely nothing like the first album. Oh, this is a great riff. Oh, that's too good. Damn. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, there is no Chris Bell on here. They were all very frustrated about the first album. They would actually get in like physical fights.
Really?
There's a story of Chris Bell smashing Andy Hummel, the bass player, his bass. And then
what a dick.
And then in return, Hummel stabbed Bell's acoustic guitar with a screwdriver.
Shut the fuck up.
They are children.
He stabbed his guitar with a screwdriver? They
are children. Also,
that's the best. Dude, don't ever piss me off. I'm going to stab one of your items with a screwdriver.
Yeah. So Chris Bell is like certified, like insane. Like he quit and then rejoined following number one record. Mm-hmm. And it just devolved into that. There was drug abuse going on, depression, frustration with the band, his girlfriend leaving, and he just checked into a psych ward as he should have, because
that is rough.
So yeah, I think he helped write a few songs on here, but he's not credited as but yeah, him leaving has a big impact on their sound, and they didn't replace him. They're a trio now.
Right. This where we were talking a lot about how the last record was just so 70s rock and so definitively 70s rock. This is not.
No.
This all of a sudden they're just a 90s band in 1974.
It's very, very strange.
It's crazy. It's so ahead of its time. I hate saying that fucking phrase to you. It's so played out. But there's still moments where, fun, love, and rock and roll, like Mod Lang and stuff. But for the most part, like you get What's Going On, AHN, What's Going On. That is so like dark and kind of not menacing, but just like that is really edgy for this time.
That's a good song, and I listened to it and I was like, oh, if you had Chris Bell still, I think the like dual
the
harmonies would have it's weird. I like the song, but also like, oh man, if
you're just left wondering. What else? Way Out West. There's just a bunch of fucking great songs.
I like Way Out West. I like
song.
the guitar playing on that song. You Get What You Deserve. Some great production on there that reminds me of like Roy Orbison, Phil Spector sounding stuff.
One thing that's a sign of things to come is Morpha 2, MORPHATOO. Going to put on a tad bit of that. This is like, as soon as I heard this, like, oh, this is the direction we're going. I am excited for more. It's solo piano.
Yeah, it's more like an interlude. It's like a minute long.
And the writing is so fucking old timey. I don't know how else to say that.
It's because you like ragtime.
I do like ragtime. I do love ragtime. But so it's not so obvious on here as it will be later on. But it has like first of all, it has the Beatlesy harmonized vocals, but it's also very light on tempo and beat.
Yes.
So you just sort of hear this piano thing floating around. He's just singing over it. Here, it's still you can still count it if you tapped your foot along to it, but it's going this direction of like, all right, we're gonna throw this little piano thing in and see what happens. And there's not a lot of it on here, but I do like that aspect of the band a lot. It takes it out of the era. Once again, this whole thing is pretty timeless.
Yeah, the She's a Mover is like the first song I heard where I like thought, oh, I could picture this being a Beatles song.
Oh, right. I didn't think that was one of my lesser favorites.
Yeah,
sure.
It's one of my favorites on here. I like the bass playing on it. I think one of the weaker songs, which is also one of the most popular songs on here, September Girls.
Wait, put on a little bit of that. Refresh my memory.
This feels like a boring Cars song to me.
Yeah, it's very Carsy.
Yeah, maybe if Rick Ocasek.
Yeah.
Or even Cheap Trick.
Who for some reason has taken Big Star's identity, which is a weird thing.
Also, it's no 13, but I still think Daisy Glaze is a fucking beautiful song.
You're gonna have to put that on.
It also ends in a totally different place from where it started, but
this is another one of those, like, this whole band really is a band that I fucked up with notes, because I listened to the album so many times that I didn't write down. I wrote down like a handful of songs.
Yeah,
I didn't take notes on every single song because I was just too busy like absorbing the whole thing. Like, I just like these albums. They're fucking great, consistent things. This is a great song too. Yeah.
Like I said, no 13, but it's still a really good ballad, I think.
God damn, this is a good band. But it was pretty blindsiding. Like I wasn't expecting them to sound this different 1 album later, 2 years later. And especially to not sound like fucking any band, really.
Yeah, it's this. That's why I brought up the NPR article, because I think calling them the unluckiest band.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't feel like it's an identity crisis either. Like we've covered some bands or they'll change their sound or they start off one way and turn. And it's kind of an identity crisis. Like they're very confident in what they do, but it's just like no one's fucking listening or paying attention, and it drives them insane.
It's fucking so sad. Like oh man. And the thing is, these aren't like complex songs in any kind of way. They're pretty simple.
Yeah, there's a subgenre called power pop that they are credited for.
Who else would be considered power pop?
I did not look into that.
Cheap Trick, maybe.
Yeah. So yeah, it's very, very interesting that they wrote pop music, but
it was not popular.
Yeah, very, very interesting.
Well, that's sort of what the definition is sort of turned into over the years. Pop is not really, doesn't mean popular anymore. It just means poppy or something.
Yeah, like I just kind of associate it with anyway, if you feel like anyone can listen to it, I kind of it makes you feel good.
Yeah. Although a lot of pop makes me feel real bad. But also, one last note, I'm in love with a girl. So fucking nice and heartwarming.
Yes.
So goddamn warm. It's a nice hug. That's what that song is.
Yeah, I think also I don't know how old Chilton is here, but yeah, he's also a very like young man.
I didn't realize how young he was.
Yeah, like probably like 19, 20.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Really? Interesting.
So
sounds like it.
He's like a baby.
He's a baby.
Yeah.
He's a baby. Holy shit, man. That's actually scary how much older we are than at this point. Oh god, we're old.
Yeah. Never gonna make it.
And now we're gonna die immediately after this is done recording. But yeah, it's not bound, like we're saying, not bound by any genre or era. It's very ahead of its time. It's so fucking even. Everything is so balanced sounding. Everything sounds so natural in its right place. Great album. God damn it. Like it a lot.
Yes.
All right. Let's move on to the last album of their time. This is 1978's. Okay. It's called Third.
So,
but it had like a bunch of complications.
Yeah. Should I? Well, let's introduce it and then I'll get into the
This is Third, 1978.
Dreams and wishes like shooting stars.
This is a wacky name. Kiss-a-me. It's spelled like pizza.
Yeah. I love the drums on this.
Oh, great drums. Chilton's vocals are noticeably weak on this song. They're strange. It's like his voice is naturally so soft and airy that this is a hard track. So it's just like this little baby singing on this hard track.
Yeah.
One more interesting note, you can hear it right now, and it's on the whole album. Strangely echoey. The whole album is so echoey.
Yeah.
On the more hard rock songs like this one, sounds weird.
I think that may be an attempt. I'm not sure. I'm just speculating. It may be an attempt to kind of recapture the like harmonies that him and Chris Bell had. So that would be my guess. Okay, so I'll get into the history and then we'll get into other things. So after the second album was released, bass player Andy Hummel left, and now we're down to a duo. We started off as a quartet.
They just keep dropping members.
So now it's just Alex and Jody, the drummer, who are, I think they bought in like studio people, but Big Star is just them.
Yeah.
The thing with the name is they were having trouble getting this one put out. So it was unreleased for quite some time.
Wait, when was it recorded?
I believe it was recorded in like shortly after Radio City, and it did not see the light of day until 78.
That is a fucking tragedy.
Yeah.
Fury is boiling, dude.
Let's see. So yeah, because they were unable to generate interest in this album, they just broke up. They're like, it's just the two of us, like, this isn't working out. So they broke up. And then eventually it got released around the same time in the UK. The first two albums were getting released, and that started like generating
some sort of buzz.
Yeah, interest in them, but it's like they're not around it.
So this album was so unwanted that they broke up, and it's the best album.
Yeah, personal favorite. That's where the confusion with the name is, because I guess they shopped it around as a few different names, like Third, Sister Lovers.
It's also known, Third / Sister Lovers.
I believe it has another name. So it was like, I don't think they like officially named it, and like the label put it out as something, and they were like, no, it's called this. And so whatever it's called, it is a real interesting listen.
Oh boy. If you go to the first album and then you put on this one, you are not listening to the same thing. This is, even the last album to this one is quite a jump.
Mm-hmm.
Like that opening track, you would guess like, oh, it's not too far off from the last album. It gets fucking, it tears your soul out, dude. This album beats you down. Yeah,
they're real adventurous and more in vein of like Roxy Music or Sparks now, which those three bands don't sound anything like each other, but just in terms of like wacky places they'll go. Thank You Friends.
Yeah.
Super sarcastic, passive aggressive lyrics, but it's just a pop song.
It's a pop song with some of the most well done gospel backup vocals.
Yes.
They
don't have Alex Chilton, but the people they did bring in, Chris Bell. Chris Bell, yeah. But the people they did bring in were awesome.
Like a full on real gospel choir, and they are passionate.
Yes.
Dude, it is. Oh, it's moving.
Big Black Car.
Yeah.
Haunting.
Dude, it's first of all, it's gigantic and spacey. Like there's so much space.
It's weird. It's almost like a double entendre for how the song feels.
Yeah. Wait, how so? Explain that a little bit.
Just that, like you said, it's big.
Yeah, it does.
Makes you feel.
It's very dark.
Yeah. So,
but it's also still it's still very somber. It's still pretty. It's not exactly like a particularly evil sounding or sad sounding track. It's still pretty. Mm-hmm. It's just the presentation is so fucking like just defeated. Like these dudes are defeated.
They kind of are, and then super weird, but still interesting. Also, I forgot to talk about it. Chilton and Chris Bell have a number of songs about religion, and you get that with Jesus Christ. It's just a Christmas song with timpani drums.
Yeah, it's like a genuine Christmas gospel song.
And it's like right after.
Yeah.
And then
I gotta say, like, it's not terrible if you're looking at Christmas music, but boy, it's a weird. This album I think is paced pretty badly. Like the first few, it's like, what the hell is this? What's happening?
Yeah.
And then as soon as
also they covered your favorite band on here.
I know. You want to hear something very funny?
Yeah.
And this is how true and passionate my opinions are on this podcast. I don't give a fuck about who you are. I will give you my thoughts as I feel them toward the music themselves. Just the music. I notoriously, quote unquote, shit on the Velvet Underground horribly. Episode 17. Garnered a lot of hatred for that. I hate the Velvet Underground. I fucking hate them. And I hate them because of their music. Okay. Yeah. So Femme Fatale comes on, which is a song that I absolutely hated.
Yeah. Do you like this version?
Nope. Hate it. Hate this version. And I was listening, I was like, this song blows. What the fuck is it? And I was like, oh, I guess I just hate this song.
Yeah.
And I don't just hate the Velvet Underground as a band. I hate the music they make.
Yeah.
And I hate this version as well.
It's not that different from the Velvet Underground song.
I wish this cover was not on this album. I really do.
Yeah.
However, after that is Holocaust.
Dude, break out the tissue. Here we go.
Oh, fuck.
Damn, I'm just going to sit in my feelings for a little bit.
The second this song comes on, the album changes.
I wasn't this song is a baseball bat to the fucking gut.
got that crazy good upright bass there.
Sounds real good.
Yeah.
Your eyes are almost
You play 13 at your wedding, and you play this at your funeral.
I know. Oh my god. Oh, the pain. I feel it. At a certain point, I don't know if we'll get to it. The bass really kicks it up. It's already doing it.
Yeah.
Bass gets crazy. More strings start layering on. It is fucking devastating. I lied. The bass isn't doing its thing. I want to listen to this whole fucking song so bad.
Say you realize
It's a little bit more. It's a little bit more.
everybody goes, leaving those who fall behind.
Yeah, let the bass kick in. Now that we've listened this long, anyway. Yeah. There we go.
Everybody goes as far as they can. They don't just care.
Okay. I'm not gonna cry. God damn, that song is a fucking deal breaker. If you're trying to hang out with someone, you put that fucking song on, you're no longer hanging out.
No,
that's it. Deal breaker.
Yeah, you're no longer hanging out down the street. After that, I was like, that it should end. That should be the closer. But I really like Kangaroo.
Kangaroo's great.
It's the closest thing they have to a psychedelic song. Also, another anomaly for being a 70s band. They like somehow stayed away from the psychedelia.
Yeah.
And it's just like, man, that's a cool song.
It's psychedelic, but not in the way that we're typically not in the way that we typically associate with it. Because it's way more space in the production. There's way more acoustic guitars. It's a lot more dreamy. It's less like get high and trip out for a while. It's more like the space. I'm really trying to emphasize how much space there is. Like the way
I could
Led Zeppelin,
play it.
yeah, the way Led Zeppelin has always done their drums. There's big echo. You feel like there's every member of
That's
the
a
band.
good example.
You feel like every member of the band is standing 12 feet apart from each other. That's how big everything sounds, and it's a great fucking sound. Yeah, this song is almost not a song, but it's still very melodic.
I first saw you.
It's very, I guess it's a good follow-up to Holocaust.
Yeah.
In the sense that there's a lot of space.
A lot of space, and there's also some light. This one does not beat your soul into submission.
Yeah.
It's a little glimmer of hope. God, that guitar sounds fucking great.
It's great sounding.
So this song, it's so good.
Yeah, because it's called Kangaroo. I thought it was going to be like a wacky song, but it's not a wacky song.
That song is a perfect example of what I was trying to mention earlier with what the fuck is it called? More for Two in the last album, where it's like a solo instrument as like the main focal point. In this case, it's guitar, and he's singing over it, and you're kind of losing the beat, you're losing the tempo. It doesn't really feel like a rigid structure. It just feels like a dude by himself.
Comes into weight.
Yeah, exactly. It feels like a guy sitting on his bed just noodling and singing. And that's I fucking love that. This whole album, not the whole album, but like a large portion of this album really feels that way.
Stroke Noel, also beautiful.
Stroke Noel, yep.
Beautiful string section on there as well.
Noted that exactly.
Yes.
Fucking fantastic.
Yes. Like I said, the studio musicians they bought in for this are just amazing. It's almost ironic that they're just a duo, but a lot of people worked on this.
Yeah, it sounds it's the biggest sounding record. And also what I mentioned earlier about the echoey production sounding so fucking weird on the hard tracks. On tracks like Kangaroo and Stroke It Now and everything with strings, it sounds beautiful. Like that heavy echo is exactly what most of these songs need. Speaking of strings, For You, goddamn strings in that song give me chills. The song itself, I feel like it's a standard rock song, but when they come in, it's like, fuck, I wasn't expecting this.
Yeah.
God damn. This is a really fascinating album. It's so much more interesting than it is, I think, like traditionally enjoyable. A lot of it's kind of spacey and a lot of it's like gonna hurt your feelings the way Holocaust does. But this one is where I felt like this is a band that could not have survived in that time. It's just this has nothing to do with 70s rock. This makes no sense.
They're almost a band out of it wouldn't work in the 80s.
Yeah.
I guess it would work in
stuff.
the 90s, but not even then. I think You Can't Have Me. That's the best drumming Jody's done. I keep forgetting his last name. Stevens. Great drumming on that track. This, like, you don't really get he's more of like a beat guy, like a glue guy, and then that's like the track where he really lets it fly. And
especially with an album like this where there's a lot of just no percussion at all. Like
this album's so good. Even the bonus tracks.
I did not listen to the bonus tracks.
You should have.
I hate listening to bonus tracks.
So do I, but because this is short, I'm like, let me get a taste here. And I was like, oh my God, like this might be the first track or album where I'm like, I think the bonus track should this be part of the album.
Put on one of them. Put on one of them right now to make me feel and look stupid.
Hold on. Okay, so this is kind of hard, but I'm going to play you the track Downs. And this is twisty, noisy. It's almost like a Tom Waits song.
Wait a minute. That's not part of that's not the final track in the album?
No, it's considered a bonus track.
I know this one. I thought it was annoying. I thought it was a bad closer more than...
It's
fucking weird.
It's bold.
This makes no sense for 70.
It's just a weird choice. Like it or hate it. It's
a weird song. I thought it was annoying. Don't hate it. Think it's a bad closer. And it's not a closer, which now kind of makes me give you a new perspective on it.
Because Take Care would have been like the perfect song to end their career on. Take Care is an excellent closer, right, which it technically is. And then, so everything after Take Care is bonus tracks like Nature Boy. Woo!
That's bonus?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Then hold on. Then I did listen to a lot of... God damn it. I fucking hate streaming.
Yes,
hate streaming.
yes.
It just... And there's like a million versions of this album on Apple Music or Spotify.
There's just a million versions of this album in general.
So I went to the one that had no subtitles, no parentheses. I was like, okay, this has got to be it. And then I think it lines up with, because I also cross-referenced that to something on Wikipedia with the closest thing I could find it.
Yeah.
So whatever. Point is, Nature Boy is fucking awesome. It is.
It's we're doing the Ric Flair woos, but it is a beautiful song though.
That song I wrote that it's so up my alley. It's ridiculous. That was what I wanted from Morpha 2. That's the song. That's the song. Put on fucking Nature. God damn it.
Okay.
I would even take this as a closer.
Yeah, for sure. It's very creepy, very flowy. Like I said, no tempo, no tempo consistency. It's just a guy with a piano.
A very strange, enchanted boy.
Yep, down the street, the same old thing we did last week.
Of course, the song about Ric Flair.
Of course, no. Oh, this is a terrifying song. I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, that album will fuck you up. And I feel like we covered the darker places that album goes, but there's still pop songs.
There are definitely pop songs. Fucking To the End of the Day, I think it's one of the best rockers.
Yeah.
I think it's a great song. It's so damn straightforward. It is not at all like the shit we put on.
It sounds more like a hippie track. Also, jumping the gun a little here. I didn't do my job.
What happened?
For the next album, I may have to YouTube the
opening track?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't save it into your phone?
No, I was just doing it on the computer, and now I just realized, I need that.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. I have it on my phone, but it's literally filming us.
Yes.
And I have it on my laptop, but you would think it would be a simple plug it in, but
no,
I got to open up a separate program.
We got a whole system going here.
All right. But while he pulls that up, I will slowly introduce, this is the reunion album. Years later, people discovered that, hey, this band is actually good. Maybe we should have given them some recognition. And they said, you know what? You're old men now, but you're going to record another album anyway. And
yes.
They said,
and
yeah, you got it, Daddy-O. And they went into the studio and they recorded 2005's In Space.
So I put this on for the first time, and I thought, yeah, you know what? I get it. I like this. This is a hooky little straightforward indie rock. He doesn't sound old.
yeah,
He finally sounds like a regular 25-year-old.
something felt wrong to me. I could tell there was a disturbance in the force.
Well, clearly, you weren't gonna get another third.
No,
I knew that. But hearing this, I was like, I could like this.
Okay.
And this is a great chorus.
Yeah.
And it also doesn't sound like, with the song, it's not like they're trying to relive the 70s, because they never did. They never lived the 70s, really. So this sounds like a fucking 90s rock song. All right, I get behind that. And then the rest of the album comes. Hey, Alex, what we and the rest of the world feel about this one?
Worst. Least favorite. So we talked about it earlier, but they reunited Chilton and Jody Stevens in '93. They were touring, playing. I think they played up until 2009, even. Hummel declined. I feel like I glanced over when Chris Bell died, but Chris Bell died in a car accident in '78 when the last record came out.
Really? Holy shit.
Yeah. And he wasn't drunk. He wasn't drunk. He didn't have drugs in his system. They think he probably fell asleep at the wheel. Or he just got distracted. So yeah, it's this Chilton and Jody, and yeah, they're doing enough shows, and they think, hey, why don't we give this album thing another try, which they shouldn't have done.
So this is the thing I thought about this one. When going into it, we all know this is the worst. We know. It's the reunion album. They're fucking old now. We know.
Yes.
What I was going was how much the worst could it be? How much the worst could it be? And then I hear that song, the opening track, Donny, or whatever the hell, however it's pronounced, D-O-N-Y. I was like, that's pretty hooky. That's pretty. It's not revolutionary. It's not going to be best. I was like, sure, it's pretty cool. And then Lady Sweet comes out. I was like, hold on, that's a good fucking song. This isn't bad at all. And then the third song, I was like, all right. Was it best chance we've ever had? I was like, it's not the worst. I don't hate it.
I think it's real bad. It to me, Best Chance sounds exactly like what the band is. Generic classic rock with generic alt rock. The worst qualities of those are on.
So that's how I felt about everything else except for Aria or Argo. Which is
that's the only good song.
Yeah, it's a good song
because there's no vocals on it. There's no blues riffs.
No, it's a classically influenced guitar centric instrumental. So it's if you've heard any kind of neoclassical, it's that, but less widdly solos. Mm-hmm. It's just this is clearly they listened to Bach and now they want to do this. It's cool. But everything else,
like you said earlier, it is a band that has never dwelled on the past or blues music or classic rock riffs. And somehow this is the most dated, Turn My Back on the Sun is just boring Beach Boys.
Bland. Fucking bland.
Which one did? Like, another problematic thing is they have a song called A Whole New Thing.
Oh my God.
And there's nothing new about it. You can't call a song A Whole New Thing and sound so dated.
So at a certain point I wrote like, okay, starting to see how this might not be a great album. And I was like, no, this really sucks. And then that song came on and it enraged me because it's like miserable retired dad rock, dad rock and roll. It's like the shit that your 55-year-old dad plays in his garage after you went to college. Like it's really fucking upsetting. And the song Mine Exclusively, the first time I heard it, I was like, this fucking blows. And I got mad and I wrote down this song blows.
Yeah.
And then I listened to it again like the next day and I was like, and I thought in my head, I was like, man, this song really blows. And I checked and it was mine. This song just blows.
It's awful.
It's
you know what song offended me the most though?
What's that?
Love Revolution.
Interesting. That one offended you the most.
That one offended me the most. I wrote down that it should be illegal for white people to make funk music. It is a awful 6 minutes long, but bands like Average White Band and Menahan Street Orchestra, who was Charles Bradley's, are white people and they make good funk music.
You can't say white people can't make funk music. You can't do that.
No. But after this song, if this was the sole representation,
that would be a disgrace. But here's the thing where I'm going to poke holes. I'm going to cross-examine you, right?
Okay.
Because that song, I was like, okay, that's long, it's funky, it's terrible. All right, it's not the worst song I ever heard, but still. But then I thought about the Smiths, that funky song on that was it fucking Meet His Murder?
That one works for me.
And I thought about how much I hated that song and how like they're both long, they're both too long, they're both very funky, they're both a bunch of fucking white people have no business playing this kind of funk, and I prefer this song over that one.
Oh, I think the Smiths one just comes across. Also, I didn't know I was going to compare the Smiths.
I know.
Sorry, I think the Smiths one, this comes across as more genuine, more authentic. I just think it's a better song.
Yeah.
Where another annoying thing is the fucking it's just like, come on, like shake your ass. Like
it's really bad.
The lyrics
It's
really
super bad.
fuck it over.
Yeah, and it's also strangely long on an album full of short songs.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it's the only funk thing on this entire career.
Sticks out like a sore thumb. It is a sore thumb. Yeah. This.
Do you want to make it? Do you want to make it? Hey, Alex, you want to make it?
I don't
want to make it, dude. That song fucking sucks. Everything spacey or strange. First of all, everything good about Third is gone.
Yeah, nothing. Gone. Even everything good about number one
record and Radio City. Like the writing and presentation of this is similar to those albums in a way, except missing anything substantial in terms of writing or in terms of like, oh, that I haven't done that before. Everything here has been done by people who suck. That's how bad this is.
But I thought best case scenario, it would be like ELO, like the
later albums, which weren't that bad, especially the last ELO album was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought that's what, very their artistic integrity has been kept intact.
Yeah.
And this should be smooth sailing. It is not smooth sailing.
Like the first two songs made me think like, this could have been good.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't going to be their best. It wasn't going to be fucking this crazy experimental, ambitious thing, but it could have been good.
Yeah.
And then you get passable. Love Revolution. Yeah.
It could have been passable.
And also, I think that kind of gave away, this album giving away its hand was how hard it is to find. Like you're not trying to bury something that you're at least a little proud of.
Some bands.
There's hard to find stuff that's really good. Like X's, Wild Gift. No, that's the second album. That's the second album. Oh, fuck. It's not Wild Gift. X's last album, Jesus.
Yeah,
not the last album because they released a new album. Fucking assholes. But the last album before they broke up, that's hard to find. That's a good album.
Yeah.
There are exceptions. This one, no one talking about this one.
Nor should they.
Nor should they.
Or should we really, but that's our thing.
We've It's been a while since we covered some really like last episode. Clips' last album was pretty rough, but like
this one. This kind of went by. This was torture on the soul.
This is pretty bad. This
is the real Holocaust.
Pretty good. It's not as bad, but it's close to being as bad as the Moody Blues' Christmas album.
I also got flashbacks to that. Right? I'm glad you did as well.
It's not good. It's just no one asked for this album. Well, they did literally ask for this album.
I think people did, but
consider like content wise for this style, no one asked for this type of album.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to repeat it. I think that's the most frustrating thing is that they never like dwelled on standard classic rock riffs or blues riffs. And this album is it's just that jam packed.
Yeah. And again, once again, another misleading thing with the first two tracks is you think they're going to be like, this doesn't sound like anything derivative of classic rock. And then almost immediately after, just the whole album. So I will say, you're not going to find this album unless you fucking go out of your way, and don't go out of your way to find this album. Listen to Donny, listen to Lady Sweet, and listen to Aria Argo. Those are 3 good songs.
Yeah. If you're morbidly curious, only listen to those 3 songs.
They would be on the playlist if this was available,
if
but
it
it's
was
not.
Streaming.
So.
And so like they, what was this? 02?
05.
05.
Yeah.
And they kept touring, doing shows. Chilton died of a heart attack in 2010.
Heart attack. What was he? He was like 59, right? He wasn't old.
No. And then
that's fucking tragic.
And then continuing the unluckiest band in the world trend, 4 months later, Hummel died of cancer.
Oh man. Good Lord. What an unlucky band.
So it's this Jody's the last one left standing, and he would tour with the guys they recruited for this album in the 90s 2000 lineup. They would tour as Big Star third Big Star because it's the third incarnation.
That's a little misleading. People are going to go in thinking that they're going to play third.
They did. Yeah, they would.
Okay.
But obviously it's not Chilton doing it.
That's what we're there for, buddy.
I wonder if it was good.
That's a good question.
I believe there's live albums and DVDs of them doing it. So
that's another funny thing is like how if you go to their Apple Music page, there are tons of just best ofs and live albums and outtakes and demo, but still no In Space, still no final album.
Yeah,
still
that
not
is
there.
Interesting, especially for a band that only before In Space only had like 3 proper albums. But definitely worth seeking out, worth listening to. One of the most underrated classic rock bands.
Yeah, underappreciated. Sad.
Yeah, I mean, they don't do documentaries about bands that are happy, so
or anything that's happy.
Yeah, I think that's how I heard about the band was I watched the documentary, and so
I want to watch that now.
Yeah, I wish it wasn't like so long ago that
it might make me cry though, so who knows? But let us do a little recap. All right.
Best number 1 record, personal favorite, third, sister lovers, whatever you want to call it. Worst, least favorite, In Space.
I am almost exactly the same as Alex, but a little flipped. That is number 1 record, personal favorite, third best, and In Space is the worst. In Space is like I almost didn't want it's sort of you go in like I don't want to give it worst. Everyone hates this, but there's a reason. There's a goddamn reason. Unfortunately. But thank you so much for listening and watching. If you want to support us, which I'm sure you do at this point, you can subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, fucking wherever. Share clips. We post a lot of things and stuff. And follow me on Instagram at Pope Joseph Ventura and Alex
at Mother Puncture.
Stay up to date with all the artists that we're currently covering, before the episodes come out. Send us DMs, emails, all of that. And if you want to email us, you can send all that to everyalbumever@gmail.com. Spotify playlist in the description of wherever you're listening or watching, as always. And with all that out of the way, Alex, what are we listening to?
Well, we played a lot of Holocaust.
We did.
I think I'm going to send listeners on their way with a still somber song, but a better note to leave on. This is Take Care.
All right, thanks so much for listening, everybody. See ya.